Hello from Delmarva, and welcome back to Shorebilly Farmer. So you can see what we're getting ready to start. We got to clean the planter up, get everything cleaned up so we can put it away for the year, but also we're going to take the time to go over it, fix anything that needs to be fixed for next year. Like we already know, one of our turnbuckles had broke. So we ended up putting a bolt in there just to finish up the year. Got to put the back tires back on, the back wheels, and go ahead and put the row markers back together for when we're doing corn, because that'll be the next thing we do with the planter, be corn. So might as well get it all out of the floor in the shop, get this all back together. It's hot. This is a good day to do this because I'll get wet, always do, and you know, why not? Had to take the air line off for when this section folds out. Now, first thing we got to do is get the seed out. There's still a little bit of soybean seed left in these. I've got to come up with some buckets and get this seed out of here. I don't want to waste it. It's good seed. I could just dump it on the ground, but by the time you figured, I mean, there's just a little bit in there, but overall 13 row units, there's probably 3 bags of seed in there, you know, roughly $100 worth of seed. So we don't want to waste it. Yeah, like that one's got quite a bit in the back. I got to round up some buckets. Do that first. Shoot. All the beans have been dumped out for the most part. I mean, there's still a little bit left in, I guess what would be like the seed cup, seed plate area, but there's not going to be any easy way to catch that seed, and there's not much in there. So we're just going to take the seed plates off and let those beans fall on the ground. If you remember back to when we first pulled this planter out, I pointed out that we had a drive tire, which is these little tires here on the transmission. We had a drive tire that had a bubble in it. Well, that bubble has grown quite a bit. So that tire is shot. It probably wouldn't have made it too many more acres. So we're gonna have to take this off and go get a new tire, which these tires they're basically wheelbarrow tires. They're not much more than that, really. I mean, they do hold a lot of pressure. They're 100 PSI, I think, is what they take, but nothing too special about them. I know you guys have heard me say this before, but cleaning equipment is extremely important, not just for the longevity of the equipment, but it gives you a chance to really go over the entire piece of equipment, things that you don't normally look at, or angles that you don't normally get at when you're in the field planting or it's sitting in the shop, because you're bending over and you're just getting into everything. So it gives us a good chance to get over all of the whole planter and find problems, find things that are wearing out. One thing I noticed, and I don't remember this being like this until maybe the very last day of planting, so I think it's the idler had loosened up, but this drive chain is sitting on itself, which that really shouldn't be, and I think that idler has loosened up there, and that just all that does is drive this back row unit. So that needs to be adjusted. I found a couple shims and the seed plates that were going bad, splitting and breaking, so we're going to order some shims, get that taken care of. And I'll show you, here's what we do, because if it's one or two things, I can remember it till I come back in the office. But we're starting to find quite a few things, so that's why we have this handy dandy board here. I have this right here by the office door, so that way I can look at it and know what I still need to do. As I find things, I'll write it on that board so I don't forget, because yeah, I'm getting older. My memory is not as good as it once was. I'm as good once as I ever was. Is that how the song goes? I don't know. All right, so next thing is going to be, I guess, to blow out the hoppers blow out as much of the dust as we can before we get them wet. I'd like to not get anything wet inside the hopper, but because of the dusty conditions this year that we were planting in, there's so much dust in there, I don't think blowing them out is going to do it all. It'll certainly get most of it, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to really clean it out with a hose, pressure wash it even, and then leave everything open and dry. Of course, it might get rained on anyway. Come on, get over here. It needs to get here so it cools down. It's hot, melting. Now I took all the lids off because I'm going to take the hose and really clean and scrub the rubber seals that are on the lids here. Clean those off, clean the top of the lids out. Just helps you start off with a little bit cleaner hopper in the spring. And what I'm getting ready to do, I'm going to start the tractor up and get our blower going. And I'm going to crank the blower as high as I can, because right now there's where that blower runs relatively really low pressure. I think it's somewhere like around a pound per square inch, you know, one psi. It doesn't really blow dust through the line, but dust does get in there and just kind of settle because it's heavier than what the air can move. When we fire up that blower and really pour it to her, I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of dust come flying out of this thing. So let's see how that goes. Let the fun commence. I think I made a mess. Now, the one good thing about never leaving your equipment outside, not letting it get rained on, is just with that blower, I was able to blow off probably 80% of the dirt on this planter. So now it'll make it a lot easier with the hose. I won't have to drown everything as much. Once I pull the hose out, get the bulk of it out, then pull out the pressure washer for the final clean. So it is a lot of time savings. I mean, I know farmers, we get caught in the rain all the time, and this did get rained on once when we chased a storm home, or I should say ran from a storm home, but it didn't get completely soaked, and it shows when you're able to just blow it off like that. So, all right, I'm gonna grab the hose and start spraying. This is one of those jobs that's just oddly satisfying. Planter's pretty much done with the hose. I still got to pressure wash it, and I'll hook that to the hot water to help blow the grease off some of the joints and clean those areas up. Then once we're done with that, we'll grease it. However, that's going to be put on hold because I got to put some things away before that gets here. So that little tiny storm that we saw way over is obviously coming, and that'll be awesome for the beans, as long as there's not a whole lot of wind in it. I don't think there should be, but I've been listening to it rumble. So I'm gonna clean some things up. I want to get this put away. I pressure washed it last night. I want to get it put away. I don't want it to keep getting wet. You know, I just wanted to clean it up. So we're gonna put that in the barn, and got a few other odds and ends stuff I'd like to get away before the rain gets here. And then we'll pick back up with this video after that passes by. That temperature's dropped like 20 degrees already, and it feels like air conditioning. It is nice. All right, on to the next thing. I guess I really could just keep washing. I'm already wet, but we'll wait. While we're waiting on the rain to quit, give you an update on this. So we're not going to replace the cutter bar and everything. We just replaced the teeth that were bad. Where I was concerned about the cutter bar having this bow in it, Eugene said it's nothing to worry about. All of his have had that same issue in other combines. They all kind of do it, so that's fine. We did end up going along, and even though the guards themselves were good, you can see the shims back here are wore down to almost nothing. Compare that to, well, here, look at these two. Compare the thickness of the two. Compare the thickness of the two between there and there. So even though the points are good, the shims are wore down. And what happens is that allows the cutter bar to basically slop back and forth this way, and then it could catch and bind, and it's bad juju when you bend a cutter bar. I got ordered some more guards that are coming. And we'll get this all put back together once the guards come in. So how many of you have a kitty cat that has like a 4-year degree from a liberal arts college, majored in underwater basket weaving, pretty much has no prospects in life, doesn't catch mice, just basically eats your food and, you know, throws it in your face because he naps everywhere? Well, I got the solution if that said cat is not doing its job and catching mice. So the solution to your lazy, overeducated cat is answered by a company called Rinnecorp. We have partnered with Rinnecorp, and they are the developers of the Flip and Slide mousetrap. These are two brothers. It's an American company, made in America, the whole 9 yards. These two brothers at a young age, one was 17, one was 19, I believe, Nick and Carl, they started having competitions between each other as to who could catch the most mice and how to do it. And then after they basically both were doing awesome at what they were doing, they said, okay, well, who can sell their mousetrap first? They put it on eBay. Both of them sold instantly and thus became Rinnecorp, an American-made company. And basically the way it works, it's pretty awesome. The mouse runs up the chute, comes up here, you put a little peanut butter back there, mouse tries to get it, and down the mouse goes, down into the bucket. Now here's the thing. You could do to this bucket whatever you feel necessary. So if you are an animal lover and you just want to remove the mouse and put it in your neighbor's house, then don't do anything to the bucket. Just let the mouse go in there and then you've trapped the mouse. If you don't want to deal with the mice and you're just overloaded and they're a nuisance, then you can fill the bucket half full of water. Mouse will do the backstroke for a couple hours and then decide to take a nap in the water and no more mouse. So you can kind of do this however you want to, and really it's kind of fun to watch. But the one thing I will say, we have a link in the description for these, and they'll be in the description of every video. Make sure you buy from the link in the description, because the Chinaman has basically stolen their patent, and they are selling knockoffs, even using the Rinnecorp name. They are selling cheap knockoffs made out of inferior materials and not properly balanced, and it just doesn't work, and it's actually given Rinnecorp some issues. So make sure you support an American company, awesome to deal with. And I actually have quite a few places that I'm going to be deploying mine to catch mice, and we'll give you guys a further update on it. But check them out. Link in the description. Well, our rain shower didn't last too long. I don't even think we got 1/10 of an inch. It was just a heavy downpour for like 3 minutes. Fortunately, I didn't get the wagon put away, but it's already dry. So it was nice while it lasted, but here comes the heat and humidity back again. All right, I'm going to hit this thing with the pressure washer. And I'll hit the tractor with the pressure washer too while I'm at it. Get that nice and cleaned up and get this thing put away.